Okay, so I've got the frame completed and installed. I had to put some L brackets on the inside and L brackets up on the top there to attach it to the frame. Now these ones here are just basically to prevent it from going in and out, where the load is basically being carried at the top. I am going to cut the bottom piece here, and once that's done, I'll show you, and I'm going to install that as well. So here we go. I've got the bottom part of that top cabinet cut. Unfortunately, I have to keep pausing the video as I don't really have anybody here to be holding the camera for me, and it's kind of a bit of a pain in the butt, but one of these days I'll have my son out here and he'll be able to hold this for me as I'm going through the process. So right now I'm just going to install that on the bottom, and we'll be back. Okay, so I've got the frame complete. As you can see, I also did the shelf. So I got all the trim, I have everything on the bottom so that it holds the shelf up in place. And then I had to find the structure part of the trailer in order to screw my screws into, so that my shelf has some sort of integrity at the far end here. So there you go there. You got another one there and another one there. So that's done. So the next thing I'm going to do is, just like the lower section, I finished the outside of the 1x3s with a white pine, which looks really nice. I'm going to finish the top as well, and then I'll bring you back and I'll show you what we did. And then after that, we're going to start building the doors. And when I build the doors, I'll actually go through the process of how I built the doors, because like I had said before on my other video, that all the screws are all hidden, and then I routed the outside part of the door here, so when I put my insert, it's flush, so that it looks really nice. So it's got a nice flush feeling, so that it's not, you know, sticking out of the door and it looks kind of silly, and then it gives you a really nice look on the front. So let me get to work on putting the finished frame on the outside, or not the finished frame, but the final detail on the front, and then I'll bring you guys back, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I've got the top finished pieces in the nice white oak. Got that piece in there, then I've got the one going up across the top, down the bottom, and I've got this one here. So next I'm gonna put this piece up in here, which is what I have here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some glue in behind it, just to give it a little bit of extra strength. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that piece up in there. It's kind of hard when you're trying to do this and hold the phone at the same time, so just bear with me here a second. I'm gonna put in one of those clamps up in there, make sure that that is all nice and straight. Make sure my gap is even on both sides. Then I'm gonna grab my finish gun. So there we go. So that's it. Now I can pull that out. I've got this piece that I'm gonna put on here. I'm gonna take it down. I'm just gonna run a little bit of glue down the back of it. A little bit of glue doesn't hurt, just makes it a little stronger. Okay, so we got that there. Let's take the wood. Let's put it all up into place here. So that looks pretty good. Just try to make it as even as I can towards the ends here. So I have a very little transition there. I'll have to probably give that a little bit of a sand, but we'll see what it looks like once it's completed. Got that there. And I've got the last little bit there, so I'm gonna do that one after because I need both hands obviously to hold that, but that's what it's gonna look like when it's finished. And then we'll start making the drawers for it, or the doors. No drawers up there, just doors, so that they could look like that. And once I start making the doors, I'll show you guys exactly how the doors are made. Okay, so I have the middle door for the upper unit cut out. So now what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to Dremel about a ½ an inch back, so that when I put the center part of the door, it's gonna sit recessed in there, so it'll be nice and flush. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little one and this one, and we're actually gonna miter these or router these right through from one end to the other. So I've got my router here set, and it's just going to go along there like that. And here we go. So I've gone and I've cut my insert out, which is right here. It's gonna sit on there like that. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run some glue on the inside again. You don't have to put a lot of glue, just oops, except when it comes out in big clumps like that. All right, so now that's glued in there, you're going to grab your insert, drop it in here like that, so that now it's nice and flush. But I'm going to put a couple little nails into it just so that it doesn't go anywhere. Make sure you use short nails, or else you're going to go through the other side. So there you go, you're done. That's how you make a door front or a drawer front. I'm just going to wipe off some of this excessive glue that's on here, and we're done. That's it. Okay, so I was going to explain to you how I made these doors with the inset so that it's nice and flush and so that it looks really nice. So here we go. All right, what I've done is I've already cut my 1x3s to the length that I need. So now I'm going to use the jig, which is a pretty cool tool here. I'm going to use this and I'm going to make the same holes with the jig as I have in the back here, and then we'll put the screws and then we're going to glue it and it'll make it nice and strong. So I'm going to grab my jig. I'm going to put on the end of my bench here. I'm going to use my clamp it down. Now I want it close to this edge here. So I'm going to grab my drill. I've already got my bit on there. So I got one side done. Gonna clean all that over. Flip it over. Put the jig back on there. It's easy when it's clamped so it doesn't move around on you. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue and screw these in together just so that I make sure things don't move around. It's always easy when you clamp them down. So I clamp that side down. So now I'm going to put some glue. The thing with the jig is that it leaves a couple little nipples on here. So what you should do is, so that it sits on there nice and flush, is just sand them down. Same as on the other side. You can see how they're sticking out there. That won't let it sit flush up against the wood there. Okay, so I'm going to get some glue. Put that in there like that. Make sure it's nice and flush on the outside. Grab your other clamp. Clamp it down. That nothing moves as you're working. You've got your screws. So the jig bit comes with a nice big long bit, which is really nice when you're doing this kind of work. Just as soon as it stops, don't force it in. Now you could move your clamps. What I do is I just, I know there's going to be some excessive glue on here, so I'm just going to clean that up. I'm going to give it a light sanding anyways, but just clean that all out of the way. So now we're going to continue on. We're going to do this side as well. We're going to clamp it to the bench. And that's going to end up going like that. We'll put some glue on there. Grab your other clamp, make sure it's flush. It's nice when you could secure it to a nice flat bench so that everything is nice and flat and straight. Oops, actually I have to move this one over. It's in my way. Same as on this side. your clamps. Flip this guy over. And we're going to do everything on the other side. Same as what we did there. Make sure that's all nice and straight. So we're done with the jig. So now we're going to finish these off. Don't forget to sand the little nipples down so that it sits flush. See how far they're sticking out there? That'll give you a good 1/4 inch of play so it won't sit on there nicely. Okay, so now we're going to glue it. So I'm actually going to put this piece on there like that. I'm going to bring the other two over. Just like that. Again, I'm going to use my clamps. Except the problem is I have to move this clamp over, or else it's in the way of my installing, putting the screws in. Okay, loosen the clamp, move it over to the other side. Make sure everything's nice and flush. And there you go, you have your frame. Frame's complete. Again, just grab your rag, wipe off some of that excess of glue that's on there. We're gonna sand it once it's dry, but you know, just so that you don't have too much glue on there. Okay, so here we are. We've completed our trailer custom cabinetry, all done. The next thing I got to do is I got to put some lights in it, but that's for next year. It's getting a little chilly right now, so it's got a coating of urethane on there, and it's all resanded, and there you go, completely done.